Familiarity to format or the lack of it might be a thing for other teams, but Pakistan and New Zealand know each other all too well. They faced off twice in the last week, including one meeting in Karachi just a few days ago. And these are the two sides which begin the Champions Trophy 2025. Welcome to ESPN Cricinfo Matchday. We build up to the tournament opener in the company of Urooj, Mumtaz and Shane Bond. Thank you so much, Urooj and Shane. Delighted to have you back on ESPN Cricinfo. Urooj, let me start with you. It's been 29 years since Pakistan last hosted an ICC event. Been 15 years since they last entered one of these as defending champions. It's a whole different matter that tournament took place 8 years and several chapters for which you could write volumes ago. But all that put aside, this is a big occasion for Pakistan and their players.
Yeah, massive. I think just the entirety of Test playing nation hosting an ICC event is massive. And you can see the vibe just at the Tri-Nation build-up between South Africa, New Zealand, Pakistan. You saw crowds, the newly built stadium. So there's obviously definite interest and a definite enthusiasm for the ICC tournament. But for Pakistan to rock in as defending champions, albeit since 2017, it was a long time ago. Not many of that team is left, but I think there's still a huge responsibility to defend that title, especially at home.
Bondi, as far as New Zealand go, familiarity to Pakistan, they're an outlier compared to all the other teams. They've played 11 ODIs here just since 2023. That's very nearly half the ODIs Pakistan have played in Pakistan in the last 5 or 6 years. And when you look at the squad, a lot of the players have been here in Pakistan before. Back then, they were part of experimental setups. Now they are the first string. How do you assess this transitioning side who enter a big tournament with a new captain?
Yeah, it's transitioning, but really there's still a lot of depth and experience within that New Zealand team. If you look at who they've lost probably Bolton Southey, and obviously a few others, Ferguson now through injury. But it's a very experienced lineup. It's a lineup, as you said, has got experience in subcontinent conditions, been successful over the last period of time. It's a very good one-day side, and New Zealand will take a lot of confidence into this tournament given the recent success in the Tri-Series.
Urooj, you brought up when we talk about the Champions Trophy final from 2017, only 2 survivors left, Fakhar Zaman, Babar Azam, and what a twist of fate that they find themselves united at the top of the order. One person who wasn't in the squad after the World Cup till now, another who hasn't opened in a decade before the Tri-Series. How do you see that combination going?
Well, it has to work, doesn't it? Obviously, Babar has been at sort of lack of form, or he still quite hasn't found the form that we know Babar Azam to have. So I think that is something that might be a little bit of a concern. Obviously, I don't think there will be any more experimentation. Fakhar Zaman, it's good to have him back in the side after, like you said, a bit of a out of the team kind of thing that happened with him. I think he will be instrumental. He has a strong affinity against New Zealand, as a lot of the Kiwis would know. But I think for Babar, it's important. If Pakistan are to go further and win this tournament, he will have to string together a lot of good performances. The one good thing that's come off late is that he's obviously got some runs. He just hasn't been able to convert. But his dismissals have been coming in a very similar way repeated. Yet it's something that he will have to work on. However, I did speak to him. I think I saw him a couple of days ago where I just asked him how he's feeling in that opening spot. He did say it took him a little bit of time to sort of process it, but it's what the team requires, so he'll be hoping that he can get some big runs at the top of the order.
Shane, when we look at New Zealand, they have lost Lockie Ferguson right on the eve of the tournament. Lockie, along with Matt Henry, were going to be the 2 experienced pacers in what is a first tournament in the post-Bolt and Saudi era for New Zealand cricket. How big a loss is that?
Yeah, it is a big loss. I think New Zealand can cover it, but it's always nice to have someone who's got those big tournament and, Lockie Ferguson, who's been in a World Cup final. To miss someone like him in his express pace is a loss because New Zealand, through picking O'Rourke, Sears and Ferguson, were thinking they're going to play on flat wickets and pace was going to be a differential for them. They'll have to perhaps change that a little bit. O'Rourke is still the fast bowler. But as I said, the team in general is a very experienced team. You look at the other fast bowlers, Jamieson coming back in. He's played a lot of cricket. Duffy's been a first-class captain at home. Nathan Smith's played county cricket and been around the scene for a long period of time. Although new to international cricket, They are experienced players, and I think Mitchell Santner being a bowling captain will make a big difference there with managing those bowlers in particular. But yeah, look, I'm still really excited about this New Zealand team. I think it's got strength and depth, and I think even though I think all teams are dealing with injuries through the hectic nature of the schedule, I think New Zealand have got a really nice depth about their squad.
They have also been fretting on the fitness of Rachin Ravindra, who suffered that blow to his face during the tri-series. But as you mentioned, that depth, which is a function of just the sheer number of all-rounders. I mean, New Zealand could potentially line up with 9 batting options and 8 bowling options. Is that, the thing that helps balance the side in the face of these injuries, and also potentially New Zealand's biggest advantage in this competition?
Yeah, 100%. I think having 4 spin bowling all-rounders, 3 of them being genuine batsmen, means Mitch Santner will come in at 8. You could have potentially a Nathan Smith at 9 or a Matt Henry at 9. So New Zealand's depth of batting, there's left and right-handers through the order, and there's power hitting. So if the wickets turn, New Zealand have got that depth with Ravindra also come back in, adds a spin bowler and experience through that batting lineup. Someone like Will Young's likely to miss out, Mark Chapman, who's been very successful in Pakistan. So I think New Zealand will take a great deal of confidence in the squad that they've got, and the recent series will really help that confidence, which is sort of very different to the T20 World Cup. This time they come in very well prepared and with the confidence of some wins behind them.
Seems so unusual, doesn't it, Urooj, that New Zealand come into a tournament in the subcontinent with far more spin bowling options than Pakistan, who will only have the likes of Salman Agha and Khush Dil Shah if they're playing to back up Abrar Ahmed, who himself is so new to the format. Spin has been a bone of contention for Pakistan at recent world events. Do you expect it to continue to be a cause for concern?
Well, I think, like you said, the only frontline spinner, albeit still very early in his international career, Abrar Ahmed, will probably do bulk of the bowling. I think Salman Ali Agha will not like it if anybody calls him a part-time bowler. If you remember that Test series, he's probably bowled 30-odd overs in that Test against Bangladesh and even against England, against Bangladesh earlier on when Abrar missed out. So, but again, he's also very new to the international circuit. Khushdil's been out for a while, and so I don't think that actually holds up as a very strong spin contingent. And going up against New Zealand, who strike it at a fairly nice clip between 6.5 or between the 10 and 40 over mark, where they do milk the spinners. So I think you look at all the spinners around. India's gone in with better spinners as well, and obviously more than one frontline spinner. And the wickets in Pakistan off late, especially in Karachi, have turned and been conducive to the spin. So I'm not quite sure, but I don't think Pakistan really has a choice. Yes, they've gone in with Abrar. You'd probably see Salman Ali Agha do a lot of the bowling as well. And you never know. Khushdil, even Saud can bowl. So I think Pakistan will have their work cut out with their seamers to do bulk of the damage up front in that power play.
Yeah, so it's Pakistan seamers versus New Zealand spinners. Who would have thought? But that is how it's shaping up. I'd like both of you to pick out a phase or a passage or a matchup that could have the most influence on the game. Shane, let's start with you. From a New Zealand perspective, something you feel is key to New Zealand's chances of succeeding?
Look, I think there's always in one-day cricket, and T20 particularly, talk a lot about the power play and the depth, but I think the middle overs are the key overs for both teams. And for teams throughout the tournament, that ability to control the run rate, to pick up wickets, how they do that. And I look at the World Cup final as a case in point, where Australia, underdogs against India, they came in, they chopped and changed their bowling, they did things a lot differently and had success. And I'm really looking forward to see how teams manage that phase in a tournament that I think is going to be heavy on runs. And the team that does that the best, I think, will go a long way in this tournament.
Endearing yourselves to your Indian audience, aren't you, Shane, by bringing back that ODI World Cup final? Thank you for
sorry.
Urooj, let's look at the Pakistan perspective, a phase of play or a matchup that you think is vital for Pakistan to win.
Yeah, again, I think similar to what Shane just said, because Pakistan with Fakhar at the top of the order, you know that he's going to go at the power play and he's going to try and make use of it. Babar as well is obviously a conventional, so if he gets bad boundary deliveries, he'll put them away in the power play and he'll keep knocking the strike round. For me, it comes down to Rizwan and Salman Ali Agha, who can play spin well. And you'd expect with Satner himself and Bracewell, even Glenn Phillips can obviously, Danny Morrison on commentary the other day called him the guy with the golden arm. So I think that phase will be key as to Pakistan, how well they play the New Zealand spinners, and especially those two gentlemen, Salman Ali Agha and Rizwan, who are very good with the sweeps and the reverse sweep and nudging the ball around for ones and twos. So I think that for me will become the interesting part of the game.
Okay, that's the setup done then. Thank you so much, Urooj and Shane, for your time. We will look forward to your company as we build up to the game. Viewers, be sure to catch both Urooj and Shane on ESPN Cricinfo Matchday live just ahead of toss time as we build up to that tournament opener between Pakistan and New Zealand in Karachi.